Today was nothing short of a nightmare, a day filled with nothing but annoyance and disaster. But Peyton, if I'm being honest, maybe this was a good opportunity for you to learn something, wouldn't you agree? By the way, don't forget to transfer the tuition fee later. The total comes to $1,000, just in case you missed that detail. But then again, I suppose that's probably a lot for you. Considering you can't even afford decent snacks, it might be a bit of a stretch for you to come up with that. How laughable. Jordyn, seriously, stop with this nonsense. I am done with your childish games. Do you even comprehend how much your actions have messed everything up for everyone else here? You have caused more than enough problems. Problems? Oh, don't make me laugh. That's my line, dear. You have no idea how much your behavior has upset me. How could you, in your right mind, belittle us like that? How could you say such disgusting things like claiming that my daughter's fiancé is from a single-mother household and therefore somehow unworthy? What kind of joke is that? And let's not forget that your son's financial situation is actually better, right? So it seems like the only truly pathetic poor person in all of this is you. You're the one that's struggling. I almost feel sorry for your poor son. He must have suffered so much living with such a person. Let me tell you something. Your hands, your filthy hands, are not something I would even think of touching. The thought is nauseating. Sure, it may not be high-end gourmet sweets, but it's still delicious. And more than that, it's a reminder of family, of memories that matter. I thought you'd appreciate that. Stop pretending to be so naive. Are you seriously trying to mock us? It's honestly beyond belief. This is exactly what's wrong with people like you, mothers who don't know how to raise their children properly without a shred of decency. A nurse's assistant? Really? You're not even a nurse, just a part-time helper acting like you're some sort of professional. I admit I may not be a full-fledged nurse, and my work isn't as grand as others in the field. Let me tell you something. It's still a crucial job in the healthcare system, one that requires empathy and dedication. It may not be flashy, but it's necessary. But you wouldn't understand, would you? You'd rather judge people based on their job, their family background, their social status. It's the only way you see the world. And what if it is? What's the problem with that? So because your husband has a more prestigious job, you think it's perfectly acceptable to stomp on the gifts of others? To crush the offerings of someone just trying to show a bit of kindness? You think that's acceptable behavior? Honestly, you still don't get it, do you? Of course it's justified. It's absolutely justified. I don't regret asking you to leave one bit. You were nothing but an eyesore just standing there in front of the door, wasting everyone's time. I couldn't stand it anymore. Leave, now. Fine. You want me to leave? I'll go. But take your trash with you. Don't you dare think about dumping it somewhere else on your way out. Keep it with you, the garbage that it is.
Mom, I'm not coming home tonight.
What? You're not coming home? I thought you came back home, but then I saw you leave again. I've been worried, wondering where you were going and why you left in such a rush.
Yeah, I'm staying with Amy tonight. I went to her family's house today to introduce myself properly. I had good intentions, but I ended up being kicked out. Amy was hurt the most by all of this, and I can't just leave her feeling like that, so I want to be there for her, comfort her.
I understand. If it's for that reason, it's fine. But please, Andrew, make sure you apologize to Amy for me as well. I don't want her to feel like this is my fault.
Yeah, I'll do that. But there's something else I want to discuss with you. I think it's time for us to cut ties, Mom.
What? What are you talking about? What do you mean, cut ties?
I mean exactly what I said. The reason I was thrown out today? It's all because of you. But you know what? I've worked really hard to build my life. I've got a solid job that pays well, and I didn't need any extra tutoring to get into a national university. I've got a good future ahead of me, and that's because of my own effort.
I've caused you some stress. I know that, Andrew. But you've seen how hard I've worked, how much I've done for you. I've supported you and Amy's relationship from the start. I was honestly happy when I heard you'd met someone good at work.
Yeah, so for both of our sakes, can you just let me go? If you truly love me and want the best for me, you'll understand why this needs to happen. You'll know what needs to be done.
This is too much, Andrew. It's extreme. I can't just accept this. I have tried to be a good mother. I have done my best. You can't just throw it all away like this.
But Mom, I'm not coming home tonight and I don't plan on coming back. I've already packed everything I need, all my work stuff, everything else. I'm gonna make it on my own. And you know, I think Jordyn will accept me as I am, on my own, without needing to have this constant tension with you.
No, you can't be serious. I know I'm not perfect, and maybe I haven't been the best mother compared to others, but I've always loved you. I've always cared for you, Andrew. I've done everything I could for you. You can't just throw all that away.
That's exactly why I'm asking you to cut ties, Mom. Do you understand? I'm grateful for everything you've done for me, for raising me, but this is where it ends. I've come this far on my own, and I need to move forward without you holding me back. I don't want to keep living under your expectations. Goodbye, Mom.
Andrew, wait. Please don't leave like this. Please don't walk away. Andrew's mother. How have you been? Funny thing, Andrew came to see me again yesterday, begging for something. Oh? Andrew came to you? Yes, he did. He actually said, I'd really appreciate it if you could see me as I am, without the preconceived notions you have. Can you imagine that? He actually bowed to me like that. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. He's not bad looking, comes from a prestigious background, graduated from a renowned university, and works at a big company, the same one my daughter's at. By all accounts, he's decent. And then he says he's severed ties with you, as if that wasn't enough of a statement. He's trying to make this whole thing sound like that it's for the best. He says if you're out of the picture, then everything will be fine. It's honestly so much better this way. My daughter deserves someone like him, someone who's got a future. It's a relief to know she's found the perfect match. So he really did say that? He cut ties with me? He's serious then? Oh yes, absolutely. He even showed me the text messages. What did they say? He said something like how bringing such lowly gifts like cheap candy made him feel ashamed. And then he said it's time to cut the unnecessary baggage. He thinks it's time to leave people like you behind, to move on. If he really cared about my daughter, he'd be done with this drama by now. He's just cleaning up his life. Do you see now? The fact is, he was never really interested in fixing things with you. He doesn't need you holding him back. I can't stand this. I won't accept it. I need to talk to him directly. I deserve that chance. You think you deserve anything at all? I've moved on, and honestly, I don't even care anymore. I'm happy with how things have turned out, and I don't need anyone messing with that. Are you really saying this to me, after everything? Oh, now you want to talk, after all the damage that's been done? Well, let me make this crystal clear. You're in the way now. You've overstayed your welcome. You think you can just waltz back into his life after all of this? You're too late. He's already made up his mind. It's time for you to go, leave, and never ever try to contact me again. This isn't fair. I am his mother. How could he do this? Oh, but it's perfectly fair, don't you see? You've already had your chance. But now you're nothing more than a hindrance. You should never have interfered in the first place. This is what happens when you make the wrong choices. Goodbye, and don't come back. Fine. I won't ever bother you again, but you'll never see how much pain this is causing me. Goodbye. Wait, what is going on here? Explain yourself. You were the one who gave the order, right? You can't just leave me in the dark like this. You owe me an explanation. Hurry up and tell me what's happening. What are you talking about? Didn't I clearly tell you that we should never have any dealings with each other again? Wasn't that the point of the whole thing? Stop playing dumb with me. You're not fooling anyone. You've been acting so smug, thinking I wouldn't catch on, but I knew it all along. I should never have trusted someone like you. I knew it. I knew I should have walked away from this the moment I saw that attitude of yours. How could I have been so blind? Oh, is this about that? Oh, the whole honeymoon thing? You told me you wanted to go on a honeymoon after we got married, and I agreed, right? Then I sent you off thinking everything was fine, but you never came back. What happened? You left and completely vanished, gone without a trace. So you knew about that, huh? So it was all your doing, wasn't it? When I finally took the time to check the house, I noticed something odd. Amy's bank book, her personal bank reports, all sorts of things were missing. She couldn't have possibly done that on her own. She's not capable of making such a bold move. So I'm sure you had something to do with it. You're behind all of this, aren't you? Can't believe I'm even asking this, but where is she? Where's Amy? You have to tell me right now. If you don't send her back, I'll go to the police and report this as a kidnapping. Don't think I won't do it. But that would be a problem, wouldn't it? The truth is Amy isn't here, and she's not at my house. Both Andrew and Amy, they went on a plane together, traveling far away. They're not here anymore. Oh, and just so you know, it wasn't a vacation they went on. It's more like they decided to move. A move? What do you mean a move? Are you out of your mind? If they're getting married, what's so strange about them moving together? Isn't that what you'd expect? It's not like this is some odd thing. Andrew got transferred to a regional office. I don't know all the details, but they had to leave to adjust to that. It's not that complicated. But what about me? What does this mean for me? You're telling me I've been left behind? You can't be serious. No, this is wrong. I allowed you to stay in this house only under the condition that we would all live together. How could this happen? How could you do this to me? Well, if it was just a verbal agreement, then I guess it's not really something they had to honor, right? It wasn't a contract or anything official, was it? How can you sit there so calmly as if none of this matters to you? You've got to be kidding me. You, of all people, have the nerve to stay composed. Haven't you been in the exact same position as me? You were abandoned too, weren't you? Oh, I see. Maybe you've misunderstood the situation, haven't you? Those messages we exchanged, that was all on purpose. I intentionally made sure Andrew sent me those messages that made it look like I had been abandoned. That was my plan. I knew it would confuse you. What did you say? You're telling me those messages were on purpose? Yes, that's right. On the way back, we discussed everything. We talked about how things needed to go from here, and I knew that you were struggling with your feelings about being a single mother raising a child alone. I thought maybe if I had Andrew act the same way, pretend to be in a similar situation, it would help him connect to the whole thing. Maybe it would make him feel more sympathetic towards me. But of course, that was a mistake. I should have known it wouldn't work. So, from the very beginning, you were just trying to deceive me? This whole time you were playing some sick game. What kind of heartless, twisted people are you? You're nothing more than frauds. You've lied to me, and now you expect me to just let this go? I can't. I won't. You can't take my daughter away from me, no matter what. I will not let that happen. I want my daughter back now. You've crossed that line. You're criminals. Do you understand? You know, deep down, I really did want to get along with Amy. I wanted to be able to make things work to get along with her. But after what I saw happen to the gift I brought over, I realized something. This situation is beyond repair. There's no going back from this. I finally understand how your husband must have felt, all the frustration, the helplessness. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually get it now. My husband? What do you mean, your husband? What are you talking about? None of this makes any sense to me. It doesn't matter now, does it? We're not in this together anymore. If you're really worried about your daughter, then you need to get in touch with my son. He's the one who can help you. You think someone like you, some poor old woman, could do anything about this? You think you're in any position to make threats or have any control over what happens next? Oh, how foolish. But go ahead. Remember this, you will be held accountable for everything that's going to unfold. You'll be the one to face the consequences of all this, so prepare yourself. Just wait and see. Pick up the phone, you criminal. You've got some nerve ignoring me.
What's this? Do you even realize what time it is? I don't have the time to deal with someone as inconsiderate as you. You really think I'm gonna drop everything just because you're desperate?
You don't have time. Oh, now you're acting all calm and collected, huh? So you're too busy to answer a call, but not too busy to scheme behind my back.
Well, it's true. I'm busy. I'm watching a movie with my wife, eating ice cream together, enjoying the life I've built. Maybe you should try it sometime. You might actually find happiness if you stopped obsessing over things you can't control.
Don't you dare joke with me, you bastard. You think you can just sit there and ignore everything you've done? How dare you? You have taken my daughter away from me, and I'll be damned if I let you get away with it. You want to play this game? Fine, but I'll make sure you regret it. Give her back right now. I will never, never accept this marriage.
But the paperwork has already been filed, and Amy is officially my wife now. We've moved to a new place, and she's happy here. She's finally free. Free from you, Jordyn. That's what she says. She's relieved to be away from the life you've forced on her. From your constant need to control everything.
What do you mean by that? Are you trying to make me out to be the bad guy? You think I'm the villain here?
Well, at least to me you are. And I think your late husband would agree with me if he were still around. But I'm sure he already saw through you before it was too late.
What's this talk about my husband? Why bring him up now? Don't you dare talk about him like you know anything about him. You think you're so clever, so smug, but I'll tell you, Amy is a victim and you're the one who manipulated her. You've been playing with her life, pulling the strings, and for what? You could feel important. All I've ever done is try to be a mother or to raise my daughter right. I have sacrificed everything for her.
I see. Just like my father-in-law said. It's all starting to make sense now.
What? What are you talking about?
When my father-in-law was in the hospital, my mother was the one taking care of him. She heard everything. Your story, your daughter's story. How you ended up in an arranged marriage, how things were fine at first but slowly fell apart. You know what I heard? You were cold, distant, always demanding more from your husband. Maybe it was the money, maybe it was something else, but you made everything about yourself. And then you turned on Amy. You made her your personal servant.
I didn't make her do anything. I was teaching her how to be a bride, how to prepare her for her future. Her father's a company president. I couldn't have her walking around thinking she's entitled to everything. She needed discipline. She needed to learn how to survive, and I needed her to be strong. My husband was sick for years. He was fighting cancer, and I couldn't depend on him. I couldn't live in weakness. I needed her to stand on her own 2 feet.
Right. And now, after all these years of draining your family's fortune while your husband was in and out of the hospital, you've become dependent on Amy, haven't you? You can barely keep your head above water. You're using her money to survive, aren't you?
You really knew all of that?
Of course I do. My father-in-law was worried about it, and when I checked Amy's bank account, I saw that almost all of her income was being transferred to your account every month. I stopped those automatic transfers, by the way. You've been exploiting her for years. You call that survival skills? It's just manipulation, pure and simple. You've drained your daughter dry for your own gain. How is that any different from theft?
No, this can't be true. I only knew we met through work, and now you're telling me all these ugly truths about the past? How could you have known all this?
It's a crazy coincidence, isn't it? My co-worker's father ends up being my mother's patient. Feels too perfect to be true, but then I thought, maybe it's fate. You know, I could have just helped the person I care about, and when I look back on it, I realize I didn't need your permission. I didn't need your approval. Amy and I are legally married now. Our union is blessed, and we're moving forward. I don't need your interference.
I won't accept this. You need to come and speak to me directly, face to face. Don't you dare hide behind your lies.
You're asking me to do that? After everything you've done to my family, you think I owe you an explanation? You didn't give my mother the chance to speak. You never cared to listen to her. Why should I waste my time with you? I suggest you spend some time alone, Jordyn. Cool off, think about everything you've done, and try to figure out where it all went wrong.
Peyton, can I talk to you for a moment? Did you hear what happened? I did, but I'm sure Andrew and Amy are misunderstanding everything. So I was hoping you could help me talk some sense into them. Can you help me persuade them? What exactly do you mean? I think my husband's been under a lot of stress with his illness, and that's been clouding his judgment. He's been worrying so much about our daughter that he's convinced I'm the bad one. It's like everything's spinning out of control. I'm doing my best to hold everything together, but they're not seeing it. They're not seeing the bigger picture. I see. And what about when you left all the housework to Amy? You made her handle all the repairs, the yard work, everything. You didn't want to spend money hiring professionals, so you just handed it off to her. Amy, of all people, turned out to be a real expert in DIY work, didn't she? She was fixing things you couldn't even bother with. It's almost like you were training her to take care of everything for you. Yes, that's right. She's really good at it. I just wanted her to be able to take care of things, to feel proud of what she could do, to not depend on anyone, especially not on me. I was trying to prepare her for life, to make her strong, you know. I never meant for it to be like this. You saved all that money and put it straight into your pocket while your daughter worked herself to the bone, and now you're acting like you were being so helpful? Is that it? You pushed her so hard, you even took advantage of her willingness to please, didn't you? Did you think you could just use her energy, her skills, and pocket the savings without anyone noticing? What are you talking about? Didn't you notice that Amy's things were gone? The moment she left, did you notice anything else? Your little collection of host business cards? I've seen the photos. You took so many pictures of them. You spent a lot of money on this, didn't you? And there were even records of how many bottles of Dom Perignon you popped open, right? Along with those cards? You could have spent that money on your family, on your husband, on your daughter, yet you chose to indulge in this lifestyle. Hey, that's a violation of my privacy. No, what's a violation is what you've done to Amy. Let's look at the dates, shall we? This all started when your husband was first hospitalized. So while your husband was fighting for his life, you were partying with the money he earned, living it up. It's honestly astonishing. You wanted to escape your reality, your responsibility. You wanted freedom without the consequences. You didn't care who you hurt in the process, and now here I am reminding you of the basic decency you seem to have forgotten. Oh, that was just a little thing, a momentary lapse in judgment, like playing with fire, nothing more. It wasn't serious. I never meant for it to get this far. And now you're in debt and using your daughter's money to pay it all off. Is that it? This is what you've been building your life on? Taking from your own daughter? How do you know all of this? Do you really not understand? Andrew and Amy went through the house. They checked everything. Andrew gained your trust, slipped into your life, and from there he found the evidence. I couldn't believe it when he told me, but it made sense, didn't it? He's been in your good graces this whole time. He let you think he was your ally, just waiting for the right moment. You never saw it coming, did you? It's almost impressive how well he played the role. He didn't just see your weakness, he exploited it. What are you saying? Are you insane? Oh, no, 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 no. This is actually a good thing. Amy is finally free. She can live her life however she wants now without you breathing down her neck. You do want her to be happy, don't you? Even if that means cutting you out of her life completely. Tossing you aside, leaving you to face the consequences of your actions alone. This is a nightmare. It's all a nightmare. What's truly unfortunate is your husband, though. Do you remember the sweets you brought with you when you went to meet him during your marriage preparations? The ones that were his favorite? Wait, those were his? Yes, your husband told me himself that he loved those sweets. Amy gave them to him on Father's Day, and from that moment on, he never stopped talking about them. And you stomped on them, didn't you? You didn't even care about that. This is the love you have for your family, isn't it? That's what it boils down to. You destroyed something that was dear to him. You crushed it with your selfishness, your anger. And now you'll finally learn something from all of this, won't you? It's too late to fix what you've done, but maybe you can start by accepting it. The damage is done, Jordyn. There is no going back. This is what you've built, and now you have to live with it. Maybe instead of a lecture, you should just send them a congratulatory gift. That's right, you should wrap up all this mess and offer it as your little thank you to them. A token of your appreciation for their patience, for putting up with you. I'd say it's the least you can do, given everything. Please, I beg you, don't make me suffer any more than this.
What's going on with you all of a sudden, Jordyn?
I've tried everything to reach Amy, called her, sent messages, left emails, but nothing. She's not answering. I don't know who else to turn to, so I had no choice but to call you.
Well, considering I had her block you, I guess that makes sense.
Forget about all that. My house is being destroyed. The contractors are here. The wrecking ball is going to tear it down. Do you understand what that means? My home, my life is being ripped away from me. You're the one behind all of this, aren't you? This is all you're doing.
What are you talking about? I don't think Amy's doing anything wrong. She's simply exercising her rights. She sold the land. It's her decision. It's not anything out of the ordinary. You know that, right? After all, the house you're living in, its title, it's under Amy's name, not yours.
Wait, what? It's under her name?
You didn't know that? Are you serious? How could you not know that? Or did she just never tell you? My late father-in-law made sure to transfer the title of the house to Amy when he was still alive. He did that because he knew. He knew there could come a time when someone like you would take advantage of things. It was a safeguard for her in case you did something like this.
No, this can't be happening. What are you saying? You're telling me I've been living here thinking it was mine all this time, and now it's all gone because of this? Just because of this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, and you must have received the eviction notice. Wasn't that clear enough for you? Were you just ignoring it?
I thought there was something weird with the mail. I thought it didn't feel right, but I never really paid attention to it. I thought Amy was handling everything. I left everything to her. I didn't think it was that important. I didn't think it was something that would lead to all of this.
Well, that's on you. You didn't pay attention to the warning signs, and now you're reaping the consequences. Amy cut ties with you a long time ago. This is the natural outcome. It's no surprise. And another thing about the inheritance, the estate, Amy's share. You took it, didn't you? You helped yourself to what wasn't yours. You're gonna pay for that. I'm taking you to court. I'm suing you, and you'd better return what you took from her. I'm not letting this go.
Why would I have to return it? That money belongs to us, the children. It's not hers to take.
Oh, I see. You think it's yours, huh? It's not a criminal matter, but I can still take legal action. And I will. I'm gonna hold you accountable for what you've done.
But I don't have anything left. How am I supposed to give it back when I have nothing? I don't have the money. You're asking for something impossible.
So you've spent it all, huh? All of it. That's great. Well, guess what? I don't care how hard it's gonna be for you. We're gonna work this out. You'll have to work. You'll have to work for the rest of your life. No experience, no skills, doesn't matter. I'm sure there's a way. Maybe it'll take a few decades, but you'll pay it back eventually. You'll work until the day you die.
But what about my living situation? I can't live on nothing.
Why not? You could work somewhere that offers room and board. You'll have food, shelter, and everything you need. You won't have to worry about that.
You think I can just do that? Do you think it's even possible for me? I've never worked in my life. I'm too old for this now. If I'd had the kind of support some people had, I wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe if I'd had someone like you, someone to love me, someone who took care of me, I wouldn't have had to be in this mess.
Is this how low you're going? Now you're gonna insult my mother too? Even after all that's happened, you're gonna bring her into this? You're gonna mock her life? Listen to me. My mother became a single mother because my father passed away. He died young, unexpectedly. He didn't leave anything behind. There was no inheritance. I was just a kid, and she had to raise me on her own. She had to work. She worked her ass off just to provide for me. She didn't have a choice. She did what she had to do to survive.
Oh, I didn't mean any disrespect. That's so unfortunate. I didn't mean it like that. I was just making a comparison, trying to explain things.
I don't need your explanations. Can you just stop talking? Every word that comes out of your mouth feels like it's poisoning the air. I'm so damn tired of hearing you justify your actions. I'm proud of my mother, and I'll never let you insult her like this. You don't get to treat her like that. If you hate her so much, then fine. I'll cut you off completely. No more contact. We're done.
Wait, you can't just leave me like this. I can't survive alone. Please listen to me. I'll change. I'll do anything. Please don't turn your back on me.
No more. You've had your chance. I'm happy with the life I've built. I don't need you in it. You're nothing but a burden, and I've had enough. You're cut off. Don't contact me again. Never. Goodbye.
Andrew, I'm on the plane now. I should arrive at your airport around evening.
Got it. I'll pick you up. Let me know once you land safely. Amy's been talking about you non-stop. She's been really looking forward to seeing you again.
That's really sweet of her. How's life treating you since you moved to the countryside?
Well, to be honest, it's been a lot harder than I expected. Work's been demanding. The company's expectations are a lot heavier out here. The transportation situation is a nightmare compared to the city, and I've got to drive everywhere just to get things done. Some days it feels like I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, like an isolated island. It's quiet, peaceful, but at the same time it's lonely. But if it's for my family, I'd go through anything. All of it, even the struggle, it's nothing when it comes to protecting them.
You've really changed, haven't you? When I heard about you from Amy's father, I was so surprised. You really reminded me of someone from Amy's past, someone she used to have feelings for. And to find out it was really her daughter, I couldn't help but laugh. It's funny how dinner conversations can go from something so casual to something this significant, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess it's been a long journey for me. I thought if I just kept pushing, kept trying, she'd notice me. But no matter how much I tried, she never did. And then when I realized it was Jordyn who was the one standing in the way, that's when something inside me snapped. I couldn't let it go. I had to step in, do something. I've always felt blessed to have the parents I did. I didn't get much time with my father, but I remember how gentle he was. And my mom, She worked tirelessly, always struggling to make ends meet, yet she never stopped loving me. Even when things were tough, she made sure I felt loved. She showed me what it meant to give, to care for someone deeply, no matter the cost. I realized I wanted to pass that on. I wanted to be able to love someone the way she loved me, to show someone that kind of devotion.
Andrew, I never knew you felt that way about me. So beautiful. I always knew you were a good person, but hearing you say this, knowing what drove you, it's different. It's like I'm seeing a whole new side of you.
Yeah, I don't talk about it much, but I owe everything to you. You're the reason I am the way I am. You raised me with so much love, and I don't think I'll ever be able to thank you enough. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the sacrifices you made, for all the sleepless nights, for the way you always put me before yourself no matter what. I don't think I'll ever stop being grateful for the fact that I was your son. No one will ever replace that.
Andrew, I'm speechless. You've made me feel like the luckiest person in the world. To hear you speak about your mom like that, to know how much she shaped you, how much love you carry with you, it's overwhelming in the best way. I'm so proud of you. And to think here I am, getting to be part of your family. I can't even express how much that means to me. You know, I don't think I could have ever imagined this kind of happiness. The way you care, the way you show up for everyone. More than I ever expected. It's more than I could have ever hoped for. I'm just glad I get to share this with you, to be part of this journey, to be in this moment with you. Jordyn lost her house and, in a desperate attempt to find refuge, began visiting relatives. However, each time she showed up, she was turned away. And really, who could blame them? Jordyn had always been the kind of stay-at-home wife who never took on any household responsibilities. She didn't contribute to the home in any meaningful way, and her approach to life as a whole lacked any sense of adult responsibility or moral grounding. Over time, as the weight of her circumstances became more and more overwhelming, her pride eventually shattered. In the end, she had no choice but to humble herself and beg for a job at a friend's workplace. She had to swallow her ego completely, groveling before them in a way she probably never thought she would have to do. Now she spends her days doing menial, repetitive tasks, whatever she can do to stay afloat. But even with her new job, her habits remain unchanged. She still spends money recklessly, and the mountain of debt she's accumulated is a reminder that the road to financial stability and recovery will be long and arduous for her. The future ahead seems filled with struggle, and while she may be working hard, there's a part of me that doubts she'll ever truly escape her past mistakes. On the other hand, things are looking much brighter for Andrew and Amy. After Andrew was transferred to a rural area for his work, it seems the change of environment has done them both some good. Amy, who once struggled under the heavy weight of her mother's control and had little confidence in herself, has found a sense of freedom. The smiles that now grace her face are proof of how much happier she has become. She seems more at ease, as if the chains of her past are finally loosening. It's a reminder that, at the end of the day, parents only wish for the happiness of their children, even if sometimes it feels like those wishes are laced with their own desires or projections. But when you see the joy of someone who's truly found peace, like Andrew and Amy, it brings a certain warmth to your heart. It makes me think about how, if the world were filled with just a little more of that kindness, things might be so much better. When I see their happiness, it makes me reflect on the idea that our happiness doesn't have to be something we seek for ourselves alone. It can be a shared experience. It's easy to feel cynical and jaded when surrounded by selfishness and negativity, but moments like these help me believe in the goodness that still exists in the world. They remind me that there's hope for a kinder, more understanding world, where people support one another and live with real compassion.